Have you wondered how hybrid athletes get jacked while doing so much cardio? Doesn't all that running make you lose muscle? Well, I tested it out for an entire year and the results were interesting. So if you're getting a bit bored of chest and triceps and find yourself being drawn towards this type of training, but you're not sure how or if it's even a good option, I'm going to clear that up for you. In this video, I'll share why I started hybrid training, what it did to my physique, some pros, cons, and unexpected surprises, and what I'd do differently if I could go back. If your gym life has always been lifting weights like me, then endurance training opens up a whole new world of stuff to do. And it's exciting. You get to experience pure novelty with all of these new focal points. You've got to learn about mileage, how far you can run and how to plan that into your week. You learn about paces, how fast you can run and how long you can hold certain speeds. And you begin to understand heart rate zones, which is different intensities you can work at and how they feel. So training is no longer just reps and weight. And after 15 years of lifting, this was a nice change. Before hybrid training, this was me. Peak bulk, summer 2023. And while I'm cracking a smile for the camera, I wasn't in a great place mentally. I was chasing size at all costs. And I'll be honest with you, I was on 300 milligrams of testosterone a week here. The problem was, I got my bloods done before I jumped on, looking for an excuse to start. Soon as they say something's off, I'm in. But my blood work was fine, test was in a great place, so I did what any reasonable guy would do. I ignored the information and did it anyway. Here's the thing, if it ain't broke, don't fuck around with it. I knew I shouldn't have been playing around with hormones, especially when there was nothing wrong in the first place. But that was overridden by another thought process, and my head was a mess because of it. I couldn't relax, I was getting paranoid because my wife was pregnant at the time and my fatherly conscience was taking over. Honestly, it's a thing, women do their nesting shit, and guys with good morals start taking the health seriously. I stopped smoking weed too. I know, you're probably thinking, what kind of coach is this guy? So I only lasted 8 weeks on test before I stopped and I instantly felt relief. So you could say my quest for size became unhealthy, which happens a lot in this game, but I snapped out of it. And it looks like I stumbled on this change in training at the right time. Here's what it did to my physique. I could place these two images together and put something enticing on it like bodybuilding versus hybrid. But the really simple answer is I intentionally lost weight through controlling my calorie intake. The day we got home with Ben was the day I decided I was going to set an example for new dads and get the leanest and fittest I've ever been. My starting point looked like this rather than this because there was a period where I was a bit lost and didn't know what to train for, and we were in the hospital for 11 days with Ben. Hospital food isn't great. I did, however, find this to be the easiest weight cut of my life, and things only got hard in the last 10 days when I intentionally turned up the dials and really pushed things. Whether it was because I was super focused, having just became a dad and wanting to prove I can handle a challenge, or did taking a step back from the weights and doing more conditioning actually help? I think it was a bit of both. I was really enjoying the fitness and it reignited that spark I needed. So I was really enthusiastic to train. It wasn't work, it was fun. My training went from this to this and I really dropped the intensity with upper body too. I wasn't pushing those sessions hard because I didn't have the energy or desire to. Everything was going into competing in my first high rocks. As a result, I got fit but lost a lot of strength, and that's my own fault with the programming I did. I've found a way around it though, I'll show you later. But as you can see, I'm looking pretty fucking ripped. Here's where a lot of people get blindsided though. Most people forget their favorite hybrid athlete built a ton of muscle through bodybuilding. It's the same for me. Hybrid training didn't do this. Years of smashing weights helped set me up with this foundation to the point where as soon as I started losing some body fat, things are looking noticeably different. Shit like this doesn't build muscle. It burns your legs, it's tough, but it doesn't really induce the stress needed to grow. Which brings me on to a really important point. Once muscle is built, it's really easy to maintain. This study from Bickle and colleagues showed test subjects maintained muscle mass for 8 months, even when they dropped their volume to 1/9 of what they were doing at baseline. That's a lot less work to keep the same gains. And funnily enough, this coincides with my own results. My volume dropped a ton. I wouldn't say 1/9, but I was doing about half the work I was used to for upper body. Even less for legs, they were getting smashed with the sled and running. And I held on to everything. But after about 9 months, I did notice a decrease in muscle. There's a few reasons for this. I wasn't eating enough food. I was training twice a day and eating about 25 to 2,800 calories. That's low. I was burning much more than that some days. But I wasn't purposely starving myself. I'd already lost the weight by then and I was in the shape I wanted to be in. I was just being unprepared, skipping breakfast and doing long bouts of work without eating. Some people eat more under stress, others eat less, and that's me. As a result, but my immune system took a hit and I got sick a lot this winter. All of this led to physical and mental burnout. Motivation was gone, I felt really down and I just didn't want to do anything. So like I do with a lot of things I get into, I got carried away. I took it too far. But it wasn't all bad. Let's break it down clearly with some pros, cons and unexpected surprises. Building your cardiovascular fitness. It's great to have a muscle mass, it's super important for your health, but it's only half the equation. Cardio is its own beast and it slaps you in the face if you've neglected it. People are becoming more health conscious with all the information we've got access to. But me and you can't really do much about microplastics or pesticides or the drinking water we've got access to. So the best way we can secure a longer and healthier life is through having muscle mass and being physically fit. That's the best we can do. This one's simple. It's good to get outside. Once you become a bit more competent on your runs and you're not just trying to survive, you can really appreciate going for a nice run. Hopefully you've got a route with some views. This was a crisp spring morning. Sun's out, tunes on, fucking horses grazing over there. It was boss. You can go on an emotional journey with a good run. Gym life can be a lonely pursuit if you don't have people to train with. The good thing about running now and its increase in popularity is there's run clubs everywhere, especially if you live in a city. So you can quite easily find like-minded people and get yourself into a community if you don't have one. As much as the lone wolf mentality might appeal to you, it's not how we're meant to live. You'll thrive more being around a good group of people. Hybrid training is hard to balance, especially if you go overboard like I did. If you're new to this and you're trying to copy Nick Bear or Fergus Crawley, who do 8 miles for breakfast and go and smash weights a few hours later, you will run yourself down. A lot of hybrid programs do 2 sessions a day. It's a lot on your schedule and most of you will still need to go to work and manage your house and be a present partner and father to your family. So it can be hard to juggle all of this. I did 8 to 10 sessions a week, but only managed it for a few months. It was way too much. I got shin splints, I lost too much weight, I lost strength, but that's all my own fault, too much, too soon. And it's easy to do this when you look at the best people on social media and you compare that to where you are now. This drains all the fun out of it. In preparation for High Rocks, I was looking at all the best times and putting a lot of pressure on myself. And instead of celebrating my first one and having a laugh with it and acknowledging a big achievement, I was nearly crying on the drive home because I didn't get close to the best people in the world. How fucking stupid is that? It's good if you're competitive and it pushes you to be better, but not to the point where you completely disregard how far you've come and the effort you've put in to get where you are now. That's the worst thing you can do. Some unexpected surprises though. Beginner gains exist with cardio too. You can make huge improvements in your first few years of running. I barely made it through 2 laps of the track on my first go. Now I can run for over an hour comfortably. There's lots of new milestones to reach when you begin, and even in your first few months you can notice a big change in improvement. I'm going to show you some of the early runs I did to build up my capacity and speed. Feel free to screenshot these and give them a go. Strides are when you finish a session by opening up with some speed. Let me know how you get on. This is a big one. I basically reversed 10 years of smoking weed with 6 months of running. It's a big regret of mine that I used to smoke, but it's done. Getting fit is the best I can do. I used to wheeze and was unable to get that big deep breath. You know what I mean? You know, when it just feels like you can't get that extra breath in. I used to have that all the time and I was getting worried, especially with becoming a dad. Like I said, you start thinking about your health and your future a little bit more. But since building my fitness, it's gone. My breathing feels clear. And I know the watches aren't super accurate with this, but my VO2 max is chatting 64, which is superior. So if you love a little or you're smashing the vapes, getting fit will make you not want to touch that again. Or at the very least, you're doing something positive to strengthen your lungs and build your fitness so you can have a little whatever you want on the weekend. It's better than nothing. High intensity conditioning can be brutal. If you've got that dark side to you where you're willing to push past your limits and go deep into pain, like with the weights for example, you're up for high rep squats or pushing yourself to failure, then this trait can transfer over very well to endurance training. You'll be good at it because it's prolonged discomfort and pain that you've got to manage, and your brain and body will build a resilience to difficulty. It's a challenge. So if you've got a bit about you and you like pushing things, then you'll love this. But if I could go back and do anything differently, I'd immediately remove the pressure of competing with people better than me. Do this for you. It's good to take inspiration from people you admire, but don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun with it. I'd also do less. Since dropping overall volume, I've built muscle, got stronger and feel much better. Less overall conditioning means the quality of your lifting will go up. Remember, this is the stuff that builds muscle. This is what changes the shape of your body to one most of us have in mind when we think about getting in shape. And do you want to do 3 or 4 mediocre runs, or do you want to do 2 really productive ones? I honestly believe this is the perfect split it if you want to build muscle, get strong, and be a decent runner without it taking over your life. I reckon 99% of you would smash it with something like this. If you're new to this kind of training or you've just started running, let me know what's worked for you or if there's any mistakes you've made that we can learn from. That's all for today. I'll see you soon.